So, hello everyone, and welcome back to Hello, It's Better to Talk. Now, this week I've really very deeply moved that Suzanne Story is joining us to talk about her campaign, hashtag honesty about editing. So we'll talk a little bit about the campaign later on. But Suzanne, welcome. Thank you for joining us. She's just almost about to pop a baby, aren't you? So we're kind of getting this recording in before she goes into labour. So if we have to cut it short for any reason, then you'll know why. But Suzanne, so I'm going to hand over to you to really tell our viewers the story of how you got involved in this, and the terrible effect sometimes that social media has on especially our young people, because you're a step mum, aren't you, or a bonus mum of 4, as well as a little toddler and another one on the way. So tell us your story.
Thanks, Ellen. Thanks for having me. Yeah, like you say, I've got quite a lot of young people of various ages in my life. So, like you say, I'm stepmother to 4. I've got a 2.5-year-old daughter of my own, and I'm nearly 38 weeks pregnant. So it does explain why I can't get to the end of a sentence without a deep breath.
Breathing's good. I think we all need to breathe. Yeah.
But so sadly, one of our close family members 4 years ago was diagnosed with anorexia. And they're a young person, were a young person when it happened. And as a carer on the periphery, if you like, ignorance is absolute bliss. I've never been exposed to eating disorders or any sort of body image problems or low self-esteem, and it was a real eye-opener in the scariest sense, actually. And it's been a long and wobbly journey. It's not over. But I have been exposed to a number of inpatient young people eating disorder clinics. And what absolutely gobsmacked me was how full to bursting these places were with young girls and boys. And it just broke my heart, actually. So whilst my own experiences with my family and my first-hand experience, I've just seen one too many examples to not try and do something about this. So I've set up a campaign, like you say, is hashtag honesty about editing, because it's such a large issue to tackle that if I can take a small step in the right direction, then in my view, that's better than no step. And from speaking to my family member, seeing a number of young people that have suffered from eating disorders, poor body image, low self-esteem, that then adds to anxiety, depression, and also loneliness in line with that as well, which is adding to suicide in young people. And I think, I mean, I'm certainly not classed as a young person anymore, but I didn't build my confidence or my resilience in my 30s. I built that in my younger years. So for me, I just think it's our responsibility to give young people a helping hand at a time where there is external issues and challenges that I didn't have to face growing up. And one of those is editing of online content. And the problem with that is there's so many young people who've been born into a world of social media, and all they're being fed and seeing is this content that isn't actually achievable. And then when they can't achieve it, they wonder why their face doesn't fit or it affects their self-esteem. So that's kind of the crux of what I'm trying to do.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I was born in an era when we had Barbie dolls and and I mean, if you created a real Barbie, she would not have been able to walk. That like just the proportions are just completely wrong, and we've got these sort of strange images as to what's attractive and what's beautiful, and sometimes it feels very kind of like false to me, the sort of trout lips and the fake eyebrows and but I'm old, and therefore I'm kind of from a different era. But what you're saying, Suzanne, is that so the images that are being put out on social media, which people are pretending is like real life, isn't real life, and actually it's been edited. So have you got any examples of like what's happened, what people have seen and then thought, I need to look like that? And this must be very close to your heart with your close family member.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to my family member, and obviously they've been in inpatient units, and they are aware of how prevalent that is and the effects that it can have on people, specifically in terms of eating disorders. But since starting the campaign, the amount of different types of people that have been in touch has been amazing. Perfect example is teachers. So the amount of teachers that have been in touch with me and said, I have these conversations with my students on a very regular basis, where students feel under this extreme pressure or massive crippling loneliness if they feel like their face doesn't fit. So they're seeing it very close to home. I've also been contacted by many parents who are concerned about how body conscious their children are, starting from ages as young as 8 and 9. We're not talking mid-teens here.
And actually that, I mean, I heard the other day, I don't know, I haven't checked it out, but actually, but it's something like 20 to 25% of 8-year-olds are now entering puberty. They're starting their periods. So, which is extraordinary, whether or not that's to do with the amount of hormones in the water or, what's going on there. But yeah, kids are being thrust into what you might have thought of as adulthood. I mean, having a baby is a grown-up thing to do, and if you could actually achieve that when you're 8, God, what a world we are in at the moment.
And the difficulty is the physical changes in children and the mental changes aren't necessarily happening at the same time. And that's where, and it's difficult for all of us. I mean, as an adult that certainly wasn't born into an era of social media, if I'm having a bad day and I see somebody that's got the perfect body shape in my head or looks a lot better than I do at that point in time, it's very easy to think, well, you look better than I do. And that can have an effect on your own state of mind at that point in time. And that's as an adult. So if you're a child or a young person and you're not necessarily aware, technology is amazing what can be done these days. And it's moving at such a rate of knots as well, that what the problem is that these people might not actually be aware that that's not achievable. That body shape is digitally edited, or that perfect skin is digitally edited, or whatever it be. But I think it's important to state that I've got nothing against social media at all. And to be honest, I haven't really got anything against editing. Each to their own. It goes in the same category for me as plastic surgery. So that's completely up to you. What I've got the problem with is the lack of transparency and honesty for young people to be able to look at something and think, well, they do. Of course, they look good. If I put a filter on a picture, it gets rid of all my wrinkles or whatever it be.
Yeah.
But at least then, the very small step that can be taken is that person has the ability to know the person you're looking at hasn't woken up looking like that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's the key black and white area for me. And I think when I started this campaign, I didn't even know if it was possible. I'm not a tech giant. I'm a bit of a technophobe, actually. And what I have found out is this is already the law in France, Israel, and very recently Norway.
Really?
So, yeah. So if it's, and France, their health minister, this has been in place for them since 2017. And their health minister cited the reason for putting it in place was the negative effects on body-related behaviour. So exactly the reason that I'm saying, if they're doing it across the channel, we need to be doing it here. It's possible to do. It's protecting young people at a time when it has been a tough time. And this is, I'm under no illusion that social media causes eating disorders, anxiety, depression, but it certainly exacerbates the problem. And that's where I think if we can solve one of those issues quite easily, then why are we not doing it?
Yeah. Good point. Really good point. And as we're heading up towards Suicide Prevention Day on the 10th of September, I think we're all looking at different ways in which we can help in our way. I mean, it's, thank goodness people are now talking about things more and being realistic about things. So Suzanne, it's been done in Finland, most recently France and Israel.
Norway.
Norway. Sorry. So what can we do here in the UK to help with this campaign for our viewers who want to do something?
So the campaign has been set up. So there is a petition that people can sign, completely free to do so. It takes 30 seconds. It's just a case of putting your name against it. Please do share it with your own networks to widen the reach of people that are aware of this. It is without exception that everybody I've spoken to has either thought this is the law already or that it should be.
Right. Interesting.
And that to me says a lot, as well as the fact the number of young people that have been in touch with me since starting the campaign that have said, thank you for doing this. The pressure I feel under is immense. So actually young people are asking for this, and there's quite a lot of research and statistics around that as well. So I feel as a parent, an auntie, a member of society that, do you know what? It's my responsibility to step up and try and take some action on this. Because if not me, who? Is kicking the can down the road. And at the same time, you have got a whole another bunch of people that then become statistics in anxiety, eating disorders, suicide, whatever it be. So it's a case of taking action now, I think.
Yeah. And it is up to all of us, isn't it? It's like together we can change the world. We just have to know that at least we try. And very often if we try and enough of us try, then we can change that. Okay, so
the good news is there's a number of MPs that are very much behind this. I've got the full support of an MP called Dr. Luke Evans, who tried to do a 10-minute bill last year for exactly this process. But basically, the way Parliament works is because there was a general election and it hadn't gone further enough down the process, you start back at the beginning. Which
Yeah,
it
it's
doesn't matter how important it is, that's kind of the process of Parliament.
absolutely
And then also the MP for my hometown is very much behind this, with his own experiences of close people that have suffered mental health challenges. He's very much behind it. I'm also working with a nationwide eating disorder charity that are supporting this as well. So
great.
that's helping us to provide resources for schools or youth environments, whether it be football clubs or athletics clubs, that kind of thing.
Great, Suzanne, that's wonderful. And we'll drop the details to how to contact you and the petition in the info below. So, you know, thank you for your doing your bit to help change the world and make it a more transparent, you know, kind of, yeah, a place where we're talking about things, but we're also being honest about what's out there in terms of social media and, you know, keeping it real. So bless you, Suzanne. Thanks so much. And thanks everybody. Not at all. You're so welcome. And thanks everyone for watching this, and tune in next week on Wednesday at noon for another edition of Hello, It's Better to Talk. Thank you.